Welcome back to the catch up here on Cris Cyborg's YouTube channel. I am James Lynch. She is Cris Cyborg. Cris, how are you this afternoon? Thanks for doing this.
Thank you, James. I'm glad to be here to talk to you, see how's the weekend going. I'm happy.
That's good. Where are we getting you today? Because you're in your car. Are you coming back from training, or where are we getting you?
Yes, I've been training. I'm going to have a fight in Colombia. So just work out, go home, rest, train. It's every day.
There we go. Appreciate you having me part of your in-between time, which is great. Lots going on in the world of combat sports. But I wanted to start first with, how was your weekend? What did you get up to?
So my weekend's great. Not just a train and the rest. I did some sprints last night. So just a home train and rest is like the athlete's life,
Let me ask you this: as a professional athlete, are sprints one of the worst things to do, like mentally? Because they're tough. Like I try and do sprints. I'm not very good at them. Would you say that in terms of all your workouts and all that, is sprints one of the hardest things to do?
Actually, last night, I've been doing that for 4 weeks. The last night, it was the best day I have.
Okay.
Like the best day. We usually sprint and continue running. Sprint, they call like fartlek.
Yeah.
So, but yesterday I feel great, But usually I like it to run like 3 miles every day. But now I've been changing a little bit the routine, for be quick, fast.
That's good. Yeah. I don't like doing sprints, but they're so effective, right? Like it really builds up your cardio if you can do the stopping and starting. So you're better than I am. That's good to hear. It's tough to do. Did you get up to anything on Valentine's Day? Obviously we had it over the weekend.
So my Valentine's days, I did a sparring with Sasha Saldana, for prepare for my fight. We just did what I love, I was just sparring 6 rounds, Sasha, very tough girl. She's upcoming, amateur. Is really good.
That's great. Okay. Got to ask, we had the tweet out on the weekend, Claressa Shields apparently failing a test, although now it looks like it's marijuana. What was your reaction to that? Because that was a bit surprising.
It's crazy. Marijuana is not help you anything, in the athlete, and it's really don't help her brand either, because she's an example. A lot of young girls looking to her. I think, but for sure, the athletes don't shoot smoke. I think is no help anything for you. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you got to be careful, right? Because you get tested all the time. Like even something like marijuana, it's not permitted. So even though, I don't think it's necessarily a performance enhancer, but you still, if you're an athlete, you got to make sure all the tests are good, right? So we can agree on that.
Yes.
You sort of talked a bit about it there, doing some training. How's the rest of your training looking for your boxing fight? I know you're working a lot on that.
This is my last weekend. I'm going to Colombia. Over there is so a high altitude in the mountains, so we're gonna go a little before for get adjusted, the time and the altitude over there. And I'm excited, this is no first time I go in Colombia. Usually I'm doing stem cells when I'm going, but this time is going to fight.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good opportunity. Of course, we broke that last week on the show that Cris will be fighting in Colombia, which is going to be awesome.
Yes.
Sticking with boxing, I saw some rumblings about Francis Ngannou and maybe Deontay Wilder fighting. What do you think of that? That's still a pretty big fight for the boxing world, just with their 2 names. So.
This fight's gonna be a pretty good, fight. Deontay against Ngannou, and Ngannou doing great in the fights too. But I would like to see some boxer coming to MMA too.
Yes, I agree.
So MMA we have courage going to boxing, but maybe let's see if we can have some boxer too coming to MMA. It would be good.
Yeah, exactly. I think Jake Paul needs a fight, right? It would be nice to see him to come over into PFL.
Yes, the PFL. Yeah, let's go
exactly.
and see him. But I think people say he did the wrestling in high school. So
he did, yeah.
Let's see what high school show up. Yes.
Yeah, him and his brother. I'd like to see Jake Paul do some MMA. Okay, so
Yes.
Cris, this is really cool. We don't get to talk about this ever on this show, but as you know, I'm Canadian. Our favorite sport here is hockey. We had the Four Nations over the weekend. To me, that stole the show out of anything that was going on. For those who don't know, Canada and the U.S., big rivalry. There were 3 fights to start the hockey game. What did you think of that? That's pretty incredible.
I watch on Twitter, but Rocky is a crazy game. I believe, and then they have free one, then stop for them, let them fight it. This is crazy. The first minute of the game, it was 3 fights. It's crazy. It's better than watch a fight night, huh?
Yeah, no. I completely agree. And, fighting does happen in hockey, but not 3 in a row. So that's what made it really
Yes.
interesting. And I got to say, next to
Yes.
MMA fighters, I think hockey players are some of the toughest athletes out there. It's a really tough sport on the body and all that stuff. So that's a debate we can have another day. But that was really interesting on the weekend. Of course, we got the big game on Thursday. It's going to be the U.S. and Canada, the rematch. So we're looking forward to that. Cris, before we go, anything you want to plug? You got your OnlyFans, obviously. People haven't seen it, behind the scenes video blogs. CrisCyborg.com, you can go there as well. You can pay for less than a cup of coffee. You can also pay with Bitcoin, which is great too. You got the Q&As every month. You got the behind the scenes stuff and the instructional videos. What else you got going on outside the cage, Cris, for people who might be wondering?
No, James say everything already. I just say thank you, guys. I appreciate. Make sure you follow me up. See my next fights, everything. I getting ready for my box fight. I'm very excited for maybe future great news. And I'm grinding boxing, learning every day, and I believe it can come in big things in the future. So thank you for all the support, guys. I appreciate.